Hey everybody, Rich Lang here down in the bunker at Prep U. The reason we're down here in the bunker and not outside is it's about 92 degrees at about, I don't know, 150% humidity out there. Yes, I know I'm one of those people that have said, gee, I can't wait for the weather to get warmer. Well, it got warmer with a vengeance. But anyhow, on to what we're talking about today. Today is update number 3 for the Illinois Concealed Carry Act and the FOID law. We're going to take a look at a few things here that might be interesting to everybody. So anyhow, regarding the FOID bill, which is actually Senate Bill 1966. For those of you that don't know, it was passed by the House on May 29th. And I've got a quick overview from the NRA-ILA, Institute for Legislative Action. Basically, what's in there, thanks to Kathleen Willis and a whole bunch of other people that co-sponsored this bill. It criminalizes private transfers, with violations being punished as a Class 4 felony. But you know, before I go any further, don't forget the Senate has to pass it too, and then the governor has to sign it. So I don't know, is that a foregone conclusion? Probably with the governor it is. He very happily signed the doubling the gas tax the other day. Anyhow, it requires a recipient of a firearm gifted by a family member to call into Illinois State Police within 60 days to run a background check on themselves, even though they must already hold a FOID. Allows for indefinite delay of firearm transfers. Currently, right now, if you buy a firearm, you're going to get 3 responses from the state. You're going to get approved, pending, or delayed, and denied. Obviously, approved, you're approved. You got it. You're no problem whatsoever. Denied, you're denied for a reason, and that's a major issue, and we have to fill out paperwork for that. Pending means that either they're swamped, or they still need to run the check, or something's going on. Currently, according to the law here, which I wasn't all that sure about, is that current federal law allows for licensed firearm dealers to release a firearm after 3 business days if they have not received any additional correspondence after receiving a delay when conducting the initial background check for a firearm transfer. The reason for this is that they said this safeguard prevented the potential shutdown of sales via endless delays and allows law-abiding individuals to take possession of their firearm in a timely manner. Under this law, that's done. You have to get it approved. So you could be floundering in the sea of the World Wide Web between your FFL and your state police forever. Mandates FOID applicants must submit fingerprints, including renewals, which would not add anything to the investigative value. Well, that's from a little politicking from the NRA. Increase FOID processing time from 1 calendar month to 30 business days. Reduce the duration of the FOID from 10 years to 5 years. Increase the application fee from 10 to 20. Remember, it was supposed to go to 50, but there was an amendment, which we'll talk about later. Require FOID applicants to pay all costs for fingerprinting and processing the background check, and prevent those with a revoked FOID from transferring firearms to another FOID card holder in the same household. And then require the owner of a seized firearm to petition the court to have them transferred to a third party. So that's basically what was in the House bill, or their portion of the bill. But here is, and I did this for you, even though my brain hurts after still reading this. This is Bill Status SB 1966. This kind of goes over the state sponsors and the House sponsors. I was going to read this, all the different people that are sponsoring, and both the Senate and the House, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to waste your time. You probably know if your senator or representative has. If you're not sure, just Google Senate Bill 1966, and it will come up. You get a nice little thing like this. You can print it out. It's got a whole list of what actions were done when, and cutting to the chase, it says at the very end, that it was passed by the House and sent to the Senate on 5/30/2019. So that's where we're at. There was some word that the Senate was going to vote on it past weekend, but I haven't heard anything as of yet. All right, so what's funny about this is when you call this bill up, it's not the FOID or bill or House bill or whatever bill. It's the Public Defender Bail Program bill. That's the lovely thing that your politicians can do, local, state, and federal. They can just throw amendments on stuff and sneak it in. But basically, they've got a couple amendments in here, and we'll go over real quick. Amendment 1 was added regarding FOID Card. It provides that the Director of State Police shall, rather than may, establish a statewide multi-jurisdictional violent crime intelligence task force. And what those guys are going to do, they're the ones that, go after people that their FOID card was revoked, because you're basically supposed to turn it in and your weapons 48 hours after it's been revoked. They're also going to go and check your firearms dealers and make sure that they are complying with the new acts and new laws that was thrust upon them. And then it also provides that the Department of State Police shall establish a portal for use by federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies, including offices of the state attorney and office of the attorney general, to capture a report of persons whose firearm identification cards have been revoked or suspended. Up until now, the state police said, these are our records. You can't get them. Lisa Madigan tried to get them, and state police said, no, they're our records, but our lawmakers are now making the state police turn over this stuff. It provides that an applicant for an issuance or renewal of a firearmer's identification card shall include a full set of his or her fingerprints in electronic format to the Department of State Police. Now, here's the kicker that they don't even talk about. Unless the applicant has previously provided a full set of his or her fingerprints to the department under the Act or the Firearm Concealed Carry Act. So if you have a concealed carry card, you've already set in your fingerprints. You're not going to need to send it in again, according to this, although it could change with the Senate version. Also means that, we'll go further. Let's just go ahead. Provides that a person who receives a revocation or suspension notice under the Act shall, within 48 hours of receiving notice of revocation or suspension, surrender his or her firearm owner identification card. We had talked about that a second ago. And that's the Violent Crime Intelligence Task Force that's going to go after these guys if they don't do anything about it. Let's see what else is in the First Amendment. The other First Amendment they've got amends the Firearm Concealed Carry Act, provides that an applicant for renewal need not resubmit a full set of fingerprints if the applicant has previously done so under the Act or FOID card. So you've got that. And then it amends a criminal code making the unlawful sale or delivery of firearms a Class 4 felony. That's Amendment 1. Amendment 2 was basically the reduction. They wanted you to pay $50 for your FOID card. It was reduced down to $20, and that affected some of the people that were going to get the money from that. House Amendment 3, or House Floor Amendment 3 to this bill was restores language that any person within the state who, before the provisions concerning transferring firearms only through federally licensed firearm dealers, which is in the new law, once it becomes law, it's a bill right now, shall keep a record of the transfer for a period of 10 years of sale. So before this bill becomes law, if it becomes law as it's saying, you have to keep your records if you're an FFL or if you're a private person selling to somebody else. That was amendment number 3. And then, what they do too with all these bills, if you've ever seen them, they talk about budgets. They go, how is it going to affect the budget, pension notices, state impact note, fiscal notes, stuff like that. Just real quick, what they said, a fee of $20 would allow the ISP to collect approximately $7,226,560 from FOID cards. Not a bad deal. I like part of that. So anyhow, then it goes through and it's got like fiscal notes, judicial notes, correctional notes, state mandate notes, and all the way down here it talks about home rule, House Committee Amendment number 1. This bill does not preempt home rule authority. Amendment 2, this bill does not preempt home rule authority. And Amendment 3, this bill does not preempt home rule authority. That's kind of a gray area to me. I know what home rule is. A town can make their own rules and doesn't have to follow the stuff from the state. How does that affect what we talked about in an earlier video, gun sanctuary counties? We know Effingham started that, and it's spread across Illinois and many other places. And it's spread to Washington, Oregon, and New Mexico. We talked about this before. And when they talk about home rule, how does it work for gun sanctuary counties? I don't know, and I haven't been able to find anybody that can tell me that. So, but these pages here talk about all the times people talked or did something with that bill. So it started way back, way back a long time ago. Anyhow, 4/12/2019, and we're up currently to 5/31. So a lot of this is just adding co-sponsors and stuff like that. So you should really get this and look at it and see if your state senator or rep is on here. So that's a look at the bill and some of the things that are in it. I'm not making a political statement one way or the other. I'm just letting you guys know you can make your own decisions. This is not a right or a left website or YouTube channel. Sorry. Some other things that are going on. The FOID case for the Illinois Supreme Court. If you did not know this, the attorney who has the original case missed the filing date of May 31st with the Supreme Court. Now, he could have had a chance to file an extension if he was under, pressure or whatever, or didn't have the brief put together. But he did not do that. So right now, and I don't know if anybody's heard anything, the Supreme Court may or may not allow him to go forward because he didn't file, and then he didn't file an extension. This has many more ramifications than just Illinois, like we've talked to before. This case affects FOID laws in Illinois, Massachusetts, New Jersey, and Hawaii, but it also affects many other states that have they don't have a FOID card, but they're laws that are affected by kind of like, their FOID laws, and we'll just call it that. There's many theories why he missed it. Like I said, there's a lot of ramifications to this, but as of this point, nothing. So we'll just wait and see if the Supreme Court lets him go forward. Let's hope so. Okay. CCL, time to get. I know there's a lot of horror stories out there. I got mine in 91 days. And then 1 week after that, I got a new FOID card. Same numbers are on both. Plus, my date did not change for when my FOID is due, which is next year anyhow. It's because I've got 9 years into it. So when I get it the next time, if this passes, it'll be good for 5 years instead of 10, and I'll have to pay $20. But I won't have to send in fingerprints because they've already got them. Perused the internet a little while ago and came up with some of these things. Items affecting your CCL and FOID, and we really don't have a lot of information on it. One question came up, how does being diagnosed with PTSD affect it? It depends. It depends on many things. If you're on certain drugs, if you've been hospitalized, other things from your doctors, just be aware of that. Medical marijuana card, how does that affect it? Not 100% sure. Probably you can't get a FOID with that. And how is legalization going to affect that? First of the year. Don't know. Mental health questions were out there. What if you were hospitalized? What if you're currently on medication? What if you were hospitalized when you were a minor? And how many years have you been hospitalized? I know many people that I know have asked me about their kids who may or may not have been hospitalized or saw a therapist or whatever because they've been denied FOID cards. And I says, all you can do is you can go in there and ask for a hearing and go from there. So that's really it about that I have right now about the concealed carry laws and the FOID, what's going on with FOID. But we have a new section here. It is called Those Wacky Politicians. And I am not taking a stand on who they are, but if you haven't seen this video, you need to see this video. On June 11th, a town hall meeting with Senator Julie Morrison from the 29th District in Illinois and Representative Bob Morgan of the 58th District happened, and they went to a Q&A portion. They talked about, some of the stuff they talked about was medical marijuana, state taxes increase, gas tax, and then it came to the portion where somebody in the audience, they started asking questions about her stance on Senate Bill 107. And that's, if you don't know about Senate Bill 107, that's the bill where if you want to keep your semi-automatic rifles, you need to pay a fine. And then you can keep them. Isn't that nice? Really nice. You know, so you legal owners, you know, I'm not going to go there. But anyhow, the talk that went on, so they were discussing Senate Bill 107, and Senator Morrison says to this individual, "I'm not taking your guns away from you," the lawmaker told her constituents on June 11th. "You just can't buy any new ones." So then the person that had asked the original question came back and said, "Unless I pay a fine for each firearm and register them, then I get to keep them," the questioner replied. "So if I get to keep it if I pay a fine and register it, then how dangerous is it in the first place, and why do I need to pay for it at all? Why do you need to try and ban my semi-automatic weapons?" Great question. Well spoken. Senator Morrison's reply was, "Well, maybe you just changed my mind," Mrs. Morrison said. "Maybe we won't have a fine at all. Maybe it'll just be a confiscation and we won't have to worry about paying the fine." Here it is. That's what they want. They want confiscation. Some politicians do. And the man who asked the original question said, "Excellent. That's all I need to hear." So that was one of our Illinois senators really basically being pressured, and you can look at the video. It's very interesting. You can tell that she was a little flustered by the round of questions. And Representative Morgan just kind of sat in the back and doesn't have much to say. I think he knew better than to open his mouth. So you need to see that, and you can see that video anywhere. Just type in Town Hall Meeting June 11th, Senator Morrison from Illinois. Just a couple of shout outs I want to do out. One to another site on Facebook. It's called Conceal Carry Illinois. I think it's a pretty decent website. It's a great place to get some information, also to speak up and ask questions. Website that's out there, it's called ammoland.com. ammoland.com. It's great. They've got some great articles. These guys are truly Second Amendment people. Like we all are, but they are really in your face with it. It's kind of funny. They really throw people under the bus where some of them belong. So, well, that's your CCL and FOID update number 3. I hope it's helped you out. I hope it hasn't confused you. My brain still hurts from all this stuff, but it's dealing with politicians and stuff like that. So, hope you liked the video. If you liked it, please like. And any comments on this video, please let me know. If I made any mistakes or if I omitted something, let me know. Please let me know right away so then other people will know too. Also, like I said, like the video. Subscribe if you haven't. We're doing great with subscriptions, subscribers. So thank you, all of you out there. I really appreciate it. It makes me happy. So for now, as I always said, keep aware of your surroundings and be prepared to count on yourself for up to 72 hours, as everybody tells you, because even the first responders have to take care of themselves first sometimes. So beyond that, prep like your life depends on it, because as we all know, it really does.